My name is Gerry. Currently I'm a professor in the University of Florida, and the last 10 years I've been running a little spin-off company from my university lab, which is called EnCor Biotechnology. And what EnCor does is it makes antibody reagents, which people mostly use for research purposes, but more and more now people are beginning to use them for diagnostic purposes and prognostic purposes and clinical trials and things like that. So those are the two basic things that we're doing. One is developing just high-quality reagents, and the second is trying to develop methods of using those high-quality reagents in experimental and clinical contexts particularly. The first part is a lot easier than the second part because the first part just requires rigorous quality control, whereas the second part requires real understanding of the disease process and what protein to go after, and ultimately requires FDA approval if we're going to get anything on the market. The biggest influence on my early startup company was basically the Sid Martin Biotechnology incubator. They provided me with a lab for 4 or 5 years. They were very useful. I have to thank them for helping me get my company off the ground. And by the time I'd been in that facility for, I think it was about 4.5 years altogether, I basically knew how to run a business on my own. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm an enthusiastic, energetic kind of guy, and I just really like playing around with microscopes and that kind of technology, imaging technologies particularly. Just manipulating proteins is something I like to do, doing a bit of biochemistry and cell biology basically. So my major motivation has always been just doing stuff that I'm interested in. And I'm quite surprised to be financially successful at doing that, because I was always told when I was training to be a scientist that science is very interesting, which I believed, and that I'd never make any money at it, which I also believed. It turned out not to be true. So I'm in a very good situation, I think.